it should have, okay, we're live. It should have active chat happening. So I will try to monitor both, but I'm not sure if we'll see them popping up here.
Okay. Well, first of all, hey, everyone. We are here with Fresh Pressed Science. I am Susanna Harris.
I'm Gabi Serrato Marks.
Yay. And if you want to ask us questions, you can either do it in the chat thing. We'll try to figure that out. And I'm also going to be monitoring our Twitter. So if you go and look for Fresh Pressed Sci on Twitter, that is us. We have like 35 followers, so you'll find us.
You're not going to get us confused with the really famous one that doesn't exist. It's just us. So hopefully you can find us and send us your questions there.
Yeah. Oh, hey, the first thing that pops up is your tweet. So anyway, I just watched you and Kaylee Swift talk about crow research. How was that?
It was really sweet. At the end, she was telling us about how much she loves crows and this crazy story of the crow like swirling around a pigeon. And it was just like, even though we kind of thought this was going to be like, oh, crows are so weird and kind of gross, like why are crows doing these things that she's discovering? It seems like they actually are really fascinating animals. It gave me a much bigger appreciation for them. I'm not going to be so annoyed when I see them being really loud.
Yeah. So for people who haven't seen us before, this is only our second episode. So Fresh Press Science, the point of this is that Gabi and I are discussing recent research about topics that are really present in the current media, getting some hype in the media, and probably getting misinterpreted in the media. And the trick is we're only talking about papers that we don't really have expertise in. So I'm a microbiologist.
I'm a geologist.
And this week we were talking to Kaylee Swift about corvid research. And Gabi, do you want to explain what that is? Because that was kind of helpful, actually.
Yeah, a corvid is a group of birds, and they're all songbirds. I hope I'm getting that right. And that includes things like ravens and crows, magpies, the Lidith's jay. Now I'm pulling from notes, but those are what the corvids are.
Wow. In 1 week, you've really learned a lot about corvids.
Yeah, the Lidith's jay, by the way, is an excellent corvid.
The best corvid, in my opinion. Yep. And I've got my juice this time. This is my fresh pressed science juice.
Beverage. I have coffee that I'm sending you. I can get that in a minute. But that is my fresh pressed gift to you from afar.
Ooh, very exciting. Ooh, I can hear myself. Where's that coming from?
I can make it quieter on my end. Hopefully that will help.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we get into some more of the jargon other than corvid that we've been learning over the past couple days?
Yeah, so I think real quick, so the reason we're talking to Kaylee is that she had this paper come out, and people have heard about crows. The funny thing is that when Kaylee offered to talk about her paper, which, by the way, everyone, if you or someone you know has a paper that they want to talk about, please let us know. But Kaylee had this new paper came out that was like really weird. And pretty much everyone I talked to, when I said, oh, we're doing something about crow research, they're like, oh, you need to talk to Kaylee Swift. And I was like, that is who we're talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she did she's done it for a while. And most of the crow research that's out there is about what's called like crow funerals. And Kaylee did a great job when she was talking to you, explaining the reason that we look at crows, which is like they're social animals. And there's, I wrote it down, but basically this idea that societies kind of necessitated us building and structure and like complexity. Maybe we can look at how crows are behaving to understand some of those like foundational building blocks of society.
Right. That part of the way that we gain intelligence was through being social creatures, just like crows maybe are doing right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we should do jargon because I think it's going to be a good segue. So corvids, we know they're like songbirds, ravens. If you need more information about corvids, definitely go to Kaylee Swift's website. You can go to her hashtag, which is Corvid Research, not hashtag, whatever handle at Corvid Research, and you can find her website. There's so much interesting, frequently asked questions of like, what is a raven versus a crow?
Yeah, she does a game on Twitter, Crow or No. Have you seen that? And you can guess if it's a crow or not.
Yeah, I would fail that. I tried it.
I'm so bad at it. I know, it's so hard.
I want
to learn more from her.
I want to get her on and like do a rapid fire, like crow, no crow. Like
the kid on Ellen who can identify any country. Have you seen that? He can identify any country. She'll be like, here's the outline. And he'll be like, Croatia or whatever. Like he knows immediately. So we'll do that with crows and corvids and
yeah, I like that. I like that your brain was like Croatia, being a country.
I'm glad you caught that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with the jargon. Thanatology. Did you get a chance to look that one up?
Okay. You tell us.
So that is like the study of like death. So a lot of times people are looking at like crow funerals. So apparently, and this is where Kaylee kind of started, was that if a crow sees a dead crow and it's next to a predator, the crow will start kind of screaming, and that will tell its crow friends to start screaming. It's danger because there's a predator, get away. And so this crow funeral effect of them really reacting to a dead crow, that is what she was originally trying to study. I think we should define what necrophilia is.
Yes. So necro as in dead, right? Necropsy. And philia as in to enjoy, love. And the combination becomes having sexual relations with a dead member of a species.
Yep.
Which in this case, they were not specific about it being only a crow, even. They were very non-discriminatory about their copulation. I mean, it's true.
You, because, oh man, I just, I'm not, you put it beautifully. I think those are not the words that came to mind for me. I'm like, we are not slut-shaming crows. That is not what we're doing here.
No. It's hard to talk about this without it being like a little bit awkward and inappropriate. I don't know how Kaylee does it all the time. Like, we're actively talking about mating and copulation here.
But like, what's interesting is that she does a great job. First of all, her SciComm is awesome. And it looks like, she reached out to the media and she like got on top of this story of crow necrophilia before they could mishandle it. And a lot of this stuff came through her, which, oh my gosh, that's such a good lesson. But I think she has a pretty wicked sense of humor. I think it's amazing. And you mentioned, what does it say in her Twitter bio? It's amazing.
Bird pervert.
Also, you 100% just said that like it's a spelling bee. Bird pervert.
From the blog in which she was called a bird pervert. So some people think she tortures crows, which seemed really sad because she just loves them so much, and that's why she studies them, is because she thinks they're so cool. So I don't think she wants to be torturing them. And that was some nuance that I don't think I really caught the first time, was that like they didn't have to go and attack this bird. They could have ignored it. It was taxidermied, so they could have just been like, what's this kind of weird smelling bird look-alike here? I'm going to ignore this. And instead they chose to go interact with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't call that torture, personally.
No, I think we are victim blaming right now. Weird.
Oh wait, there's another important jargon word that we should talk about because it's in the title of her paper, which is conspecifics.
Yeah.
Or do you think it's conspecifics?
I think it's conspecifics.
Okay.
What emphasis on which syllable? Right, I don't know. But yeah, so conspecifics meaning like con like with or same specific species. So it's the same species. And I think that is an important thing. Like you were saying, crows aren't that picky. It didn't seem like they were excited about a squirrel, but pigeons, it's okay. You know,
right.
They're dead.
Okay, we have to just keep going. We can't even get stuck on the jargon because
it's amazing.
There's so much to talk about in this paper.
You know, yeah, there is so much. And I think that we're going to give a shout out to the Sci community, one for hosting us on the YouTube, giving us this platform, might be revoked.
Yeah, right. This is our last episode.
Yeah, this is our second and last episode. But also to the amazing Dan, who he said that we could have personality, and
right.
You're welcome. Okay. So, yeah. So everyone feel free to keep sending in your questions. We'll check the Twitter. And then what's awesome is Kaylee is in the questions that we had earlier, and she's answered those. So we'll be able to get to them too. But I think you're right. Like, let's talk about the paper, answer some questions. And if any more come in, we'll try to get those as well. So
sounds great.
Okay. So I have, well, first of all, here is the picture that is on the blog. This is
you got to show that.
Times. This is the Times, everyone. Which at least is just like standing there screaming.
Right. It could have been worse.
And like if you look really closely, it's pretty funny because you can tell it's a pretend, or not a pretend bird, but like definitely a dead bird on purpose. Because it's a little googly eye.
I feel like it could be a meme of like, wake up, Karen, you know, like.
Annie, are you okay? I think it was Jenny from Washington, at her handle, Jenny from WA, that was like, it's just giving CPR.
Yeah.
This is a disaster. Okay, so, but it was actually a pretty straightforward paper. So we gave the background.
Yep.
And that basically, like, it used to be, they would have this predator there, and the crows would come and start screaming, crow funeral.
Upset.
Hashtag crow funeral. But then we get into hashtag crow necrophilia because they took away the predator, right? So Kaylee was saying that they wanted the crow to get closer to its dead crow friend.
Interact with the friend, right?
Yeah, and so what happened?
It could be a friend, right? That's important. That it was a strange crow. It was like not part of their crew. It's not like Kaylee stole a crow friend and then was like, this is your dead crow friend. It was a crow that they had obtained from another group, right?
Yeah. So she actually like gives a major shout out. I'm going to try to find it as we go, but there's somebody who has a taxidermy practice. And he was able to donate a bunch of taxidermy crows because, as it turned out, crows, when it's especially in the mating season, get kind of vicious, and sometimes they'd find a dead crow and just like destroy it. So they went through a bunch of like crow bodies. But that's a really important part, that this is just like some random crow in a dead position that they're introducing to wild live crows. So anyway, set the stage. We have our dead crow in a dead crow position. And then what happens?
Well, I guess it depends. There's two dead crow positions. So they either put it in a position where it was lying down, but that accidentally sort of maybe looked like a female who was interested in copulating.
Yeah.
But then they tried a different position.
Here we go. So these are our crow options. We have like angel crow.
No, angel crow is mating crow.
No, angel crow is mating crow. A standard dead position.
Okay, sorry, standard.
Standard dead mating position.
Okay.
We have our upright lifelike crow and our tucked crow. And actually, okay. So I asked Kaylee, like, do dead crows look always the same? She's like, in our study, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's true. Like, you see dead birds, they usually look kind of the same.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah.
So then they found that only a small percentage, but some, would interact with the bird other than just like yelling. They would go and like greet it, right?
Yeah. It was like they would go and some would poke it. Some would tear it to shreds. But some apparently, well, we'll get to it. Some tried to mate with the crow. And I'm going to make you do this one. How do crows mate, Gabi?
Well, Susanna, as you texted me earlier today, crows do not have, male crows nor female crows do not have penises. You can't make me say it and be cracking up. They do not have penises.
Yep.
So I believe the scientific term that you used to describe it, should I direct quote you here?
Yeah. You know what? No one can get mad at you if you quote me.
I think there was, okay, the term is thrashing. So they, oh, puppy. Okay, we definitely need a dog to make this less awkward. So they essentially have a, I really don't want to use the word humping on live YouTube, but they attempt to mate without a penis, and they do that with both male and female receiving crows.
What do you think, Hermes?
That's the end. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this face is really what it is.
Yeah. Hermes is like, okay, can we stop?
He's like, kill me. Oh my gosh. So make sure we're not missing anything on the Twitters.
Yeah, so we could give a quick answer to one of the questions that we had, which was, do other animals engage in necrophilia? Like, is this something uniquely weird and gross to crows, or is this something other people do? Sorry, other animals do. So we have here that dolphins, primates, humpback whales, mallards, meaning a duck. What the heck is a sand martin?
It's also a bird. I think it's like one of those like piper things.
Okay, sand martin, frog, lizards, and lots have been observed just once or twice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well,
all right. That's somebody like writing into National Geographic, like, pretty sure I saw my horse try to. So I think my favorite part of her, I think it was in the blog that she said one of the worst, the most exciting, I don't know what word she would use, incident was like one bird shows up, freaks out, tries to mate with dead bird, and then its friend comes in and also freaks out, and then like, tear the bird apart, and then everyone loses their minds. Which I want to see the field notes on this. Like, how do you document that?
I want the video.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's video, that's the whole thing. I guess maybe I don't want the video. I just want to see like Kaylee's reaction to being like, crow 1, alert. I read it as like a script, right? Like,
crow 2 enters center stage. Sees dead. Thinks, I think you're dead, but also I'm horny. Because I think, there we go, there's our transition.
Perfect.
Yeah, nailed it. So this is something that happens specifically during the mating season, and it kind of comes into why they think this is occurring. Like, why are these crows that are supposed to find a crow that's dead and be like, oh, we need to leave? Why are some of them not leaving?
Right. And so the way she explained it to me, and based on the reading, was that because they are in this breeding season, it's a really vulnerable time for them. And so they both want to, I'm going to just say it, pass on their seed by mating.
Well, is that fun? Because it's birds.
Yes. No, it wasn't, but I'll take that. So they want to mate a lot. And they also want to protect their territory to keep themselves and their other crow friends safe and mating. Mm-hmm. So they're both feeling very interested in copulation and feeling really aggressive. And she said that both males and females have testosterone, which is high at this point. And I can't believe, I don't know, I didn't think that birds had testosterone. I guess I thought that was like a human hormone. I didn't think about the fact that like other types of animals would also have the same hormone.
Yeah, so that was one of the questions from Kylene on the on
Oh
the
yeah, on the live chat.
live. Yeah, there's so many names. So she asked, do crows give off smells or pheromones when they die? And Kaylee answered, probably, but crows have a poor sense of smell relative to mammals. That's part of
So
why
interesting.
I don't there all of these things. I'm like, wow, I have never thought about this. And how do you figure out if a crow has a good sense of smell? It's totally different from bacteria work, right?
Right. And she was saying that their brains are really different than ours. So we have to, I mean, we don't do it. Clearly, we know nothing about crows. But these crow people have to figure out everything almost like from scratch. Like they can't say like in the human brain it's like this. So they must be smelling it in this region of the brain and all that. So it says that it's a great model for looking at the evolution of these cognition and social behavior. But like, why can't they smell? Also, I just realized I don't know what crows eat, so I'm going to Google.
Oh, it says we are supposed to. Michelle from Silly Scientist is like, check your comments on YouTube. LOL.
I don't know how.
Yeah, Michelle, how do we do this?
All right, let me try. I'm going to mute myself. You keep talking.
Yeah, that's great. I'll just keep talking. That is what everyone wants. Also, my dog is dead, but as far as we know, dogs do not engage in necrophilia. Let's go with fun facts. So this is a mistake. This is where we're going to find out I'm not allowed to host shows on my own. Is that so in North Carolina for a while, at least, homosexuality was illegal, but necrophilia was not.
I have so many feelings about that.
Yeah, and so, I mean, the logical question that comes up is, can you have homosexual necrophilia? What does it count as? So these are questions that I will ask my state legislator.
Okay, just to move you on from like doing political hatred.
Oh, no, I'm not going to.
Oh, you're not done.
No, don't worry. No,
I mean, I feel the same way. So.
I'm pretty sure necrophilia should just be illegal. I don't know if I hope that's not political.
That's fair. We do have a lot of comments and things coming in on YouTube. So thank goodness for Michelle who told us to check this, even though I didn't. I figured it out how. So Kaylee told us that she has a YouTube so we can watch the video for ourselves.
Oh my goodness.
So
I don't know what I'm doing.
She's there and that's in the chat. So I think you could click on her channel, but we'll also put a link in the description.
Yep.
We know how to do that. And
so everyone, this is why we need to get 10,000 followers on the site community, because then we could link to the bio. So if you know people who should be seeing the site community, please like post a story about them. They're amazing.
Yeah, we really want to get that swipe up to put the link so that we can talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel told us that Daniel has seen live neotropical snakes, colubrids, engage in necrophilia. So we're getting lots of examples of necrophilia. Invertebrates do it too, apparently because even the dead females still have pheromones. So maybe if they do have a better sense of smell, then the pheromones do matter.
Well, one of the questions that we asked was, does it have to be a dead female? And Kaylee said that there were examples of them dead males. So homosexual necrophilia, I guess.
Just to bring it full circle.
Full circle. Oh, gosh.
By the way, people are saying that they think this is funny. So we haven't gone too far. So
yeah,
thank you for the feedback here.
If you're offended, just leave. That's how the internet works. Glad this is live. And let's see. There was I love this. So Daniel also, first of all, Daniel is awesome.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, DLLAVANERAS on Instagram. He's got a whole bunch of like cool animal pictures and has adorable animal pictures, which he should post more of. But so he asked Kaylee, what is her favorite non-crow corvid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that really speaks volumes to how nerdy this audience is. And and her answer, in North America, it's the black-billed magpie. Global, the Lidditz jay is beautiful. The Hawaiian crow doesn't count, but it's super endangered, so worth plugging. They were extinct in the wild until very recently. Now there's about 15 on the Big Island. How do you know there's 15?
Because there's so few, you just say, oh, there's number 1, there's number 12.
Yeah.
It's not like your microbes where you're like, oh, there's number 5,000,000,003, there's number 5,000,000,008.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I wonder why she says that they don't count. Is it because they were extinct?
No, I think because he asked favorite non-crow corvid, and she wanted.
Oh,
she wanted
it's a crow.
Yeah, it's a crow. But someone does not understand why I'm not paying all of my attention to him.
Hermes.
Yeah,
I think that your dog should be in every single live stream.
I think it probably should. Athena's over there. I mean, they're always in here with me, so I might just snuggle them. I'll just send them to you.
We're getting more fun comments, which is that ducks also have penises that fall off at the end of the mating season.
And people ask me if this is a waste of time.
No, we've learned so much.
We really have. Any other interesting questions, questionable questions?
Nothing is coming in super hot on the I don't know what you call it, the chat. Yeah, so send us your last minute questions if you have them, because we're going to start to wrap up, make sure we've hit all of our main points.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of jumped around the paper a little bit, but
yeah, there was a lot here.
Yeah, the main, I feel like, and I'll give my main point and you let me know. My main takeaway of the paper was that they found in a certain percentage or a small percentage of crows that when presented with a dead crow or a dead pigeon in some cases most of them would respond with alarm, but some would kind of become confused and try to mate with the dead crow. And this was specific to crows that looked like they were dead, not to the live crows. And also it was not a food reaction. So they had a dead squirrel and they didn't react like that to the squirrel. So the mating was not food and it was not just a crow. It had to be a dead crow. Is that about?
Yeah, I think that's a great takeaway. Yeah. And that this is part of a broader pattern of generally really smart behavior that crows have, but then when they just kind of get overwhelmed by the hormones that they're going through, they can't quite figure out what is what, and they're having these competing stimuli, and I feel kind of badly for them. They're just so confused. They're probably stressed out, and that's how Kaylee ends up getting called a bird pervert.
Well, and I brought this up in my lab, right, like a normal person would. I was like, hey, so have you heard about this thing, crow necrophilia? And it was kind of an interesting thing because what Kaylee brings up in her paper at the end is that it possibly because it's mating season, they're just so confused. Yeah. They kind of do everything at once. And, we were kind of joking around in my lab, but it's true that a large number of people hook up at funerals, like human funerals. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's not that weird. And so I think there's something to be said too in just of what are the primary responses, right? There's fight, flee, feed, and reproduce, I think is the joke. But when you've got hormones and stress going crazy, especially at those base levels, you got a handful of options.
Right. Sometimes it just seems like the crows at least go for a lot of them at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe we should, I think my last thing that I would really want to share about this is how exactly she went about this research. And I think I just have to quote her directly because it's so funny. So she said that she would drive to a neighborhood and park, walk around till she found a crow nest, which I don't know if that took 10 minutes or 3 hours, but that's what she did. Then she would watch the parents for a little bit, get to know their movements and wait for them to be out of sight. Then, and I'm quoting, dash over to a spot about 35 meters from the nest tree, place a dead crow, squirrel, pigeon out on the sidewalk, then wait for the birds to return. So she was doing a full-on crow, search, scare, and stakeout operation, which I really respect.
In Seattle, maybe it's not that weird. No, I'm just kidding. I was born in Seattle. Fun fact.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, well, there you go. And there was one thing that I think that's awesome. And then one thing that Kaylee said I think is just really lovely. Like you can just tell that she really cares about this research.
Yeah.
Is two things. When she gets these negative responses from people of like, what are you doing? A lot of times that's just other people who really think that we should leave nature alone. And she's like understanding. But she said her response is like, yeah, I am proud because she's going to be the first woman in her family with a PhD. And that's
cool.
amazing. And then she said, this is a quote, but she goes, studying crows, so corvid research is an amazing opportunity for urban naturalists to watch and get to know animals on intimate individual levels. Because crows will mate and stay alive for like 14 to 17 years.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm gonna check the tweeter one last time.
We have one that I really almost don't want to tell you about.
Oh no.
Did they determine if copulation was complete with males ejaculating, or just, to paraphrase your Instagram story, Susanna, dry humping?
So the wetness of the dry hump, I will say this, I don't care.
Yes.
So fun fact, this is really, if I'm going to take two things away from this whole thing, it's going to be that duck penises fall off, and that crows, aren't they squiggly? Anyway, and crows, they don't really have penises, and so they each. The other way I said it was even more vulgar, but
don't say that one.
I'm not going to say that one. They rub up against each other, and they have cloacae. I think that's how you say it.
Cloaca, I think.
Cloaca?
Yeah.
I don't know what the plural is. They thrash together, and basically the sperm just kind of end up in the female.
Whoa.
So you'd have to do, I guess they don't really ejaculate, do they? It's just sort of like,
I would call that complete.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could do like a CSI on the dead bird if you needed to. Yep.
Okay, just to end on a brighter note, Jenny is helping us to imagine the 911 call that would occur when you see Kaylee sneaking around in the bushes saying, yes, 911, this woman is putting dead crows on the sidewalk and hiding in the bushes.
It's okay if the crows are enjoying it.
Oh no, the cloak is the butthole.
Well, it's all the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought Jenny was telling us we were wrong.
On YouTube.
I think we should maybe
wrap it up. We should wrap it up.
All right, let's do our outro.
Yeah, let's do our outro. So we'll do like the intro outro reverse. So again, like, I am Susanna Harris. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Susanna L. Harris. It's not Susan. People keep calling me Susan.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everyone calls. I don't know.
Hi, Susan.
Everyone. I don't know. And I don't, like, I thought, like, is Susanna too long? I don't know. There's a bunch of other.
Maybe it's a autocorrect.
That would make sense too. Yeah. And I'm so lucky my parents gave me 2 N's in my name. If anyone figures out what the joke is in that, let me know. But Susanna L. Harris.
Got it.
Yep. Nailed it. On Twitter and YouTube. And I study bacteria on plant roots.
I'm Gabi Serrato Marks. You can find me on a lot of places these days, but mostly Twitter and Instagram as @GSerratoMarks. I'm getting a phone call. Should I answer it live right now?
Probably.
Hello, you're on YouTube. Yeah.
You're gonna lose your job.
So you can find me there, and I mostly tweet and Instagram about cave research and grad student life, which has been a roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I need to plug my PH depression? We'll just really wrap.
We got a lot. Yeah, we have a lot of like side hustles happening.
Go find us, stalk us, like all of my old.
No, that's not good to joke about. Come and greet us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. No kind of like Hannibal Lecter shit. I don't want to hear like my eyes would look good in a jar or something. And
oh my god, you've gotten some weird comments. So yeah, so ask us science questions. tell us what kind of topics you'd like to hear about in the next live streams.
Yes, if you or anyone you know has a paper that came out in the last like 3 years and got some media buzz, maybe it didn't, maybe your paper should have gotten media buzz and the wrong paper got it, whatever. If you or the person who is on the paper wants to talk about it, we want to talk to you.
It can't be plant roots and it can't be caves. Those are our only rules.
If it is, that's cool, but one of us will have to step out. We might do some different co-hosting. So, and also let us know here on the Psy community, send us a message, what you think about it, what you want to change, too slow, too fast, too many references to buttholes. You cannot say it the other way. You can't say there's not enough, unless we do a paper like that. And last week we talked to Janelle Letson from the Sushi Scientist. She did an awesome job. She suggested we find somebody who does like body perception with alcohol. There's so many cool ideas and I want to learn all of it. But yeah, so this is the fresh pressed science from the Psy community. And I am Susanna Harris.
I'm Gabi Serrato Marks.
And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.